meeting our next presenter earlier, we only really know him through LinkedIn. He is going to talk to us about being 1 in a billion. And if you'll remember from being here this morning when Alex was talking about the sweetie box and the faces and the 1%, well, Gus is going to talk to us about that. So Gus is one of the UK's foremost LinkedIn trainers. He's the founder of the marketing agency, The M Guru. I mean, how cool does that sound? And he's here today to talk about, talk to us about how we can use LinkedIn to become that 1 in a billion. So, without further ado, Gus, over to you.
Thank you. Afternoon, everyone. Was the coffee decaf? Let's try that again, shall we? Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. There you go. There you go. So, as introduced, my name is Gus. I'm here to talk to you about being 1 in a billion on LinkedIn. So we all remember this guy, right? Yeah, of course. The wonderful TV show, Blanksy Blank. Now, don't worry. There's no audience participation here. You don't need to give the answers. But however, when it comes to our business, what do we want? More blank. What do we want? We want more visibility. We want more leads. We want to turn those leads into clients, and ultimately, we want to make money. Now, in my opinion, LinkedIn is the best place for this. It's the best place to make money. Now, my presentation is called 1 in a billion, and yesterday LinkedIn announced that there are now 1.1 billion people on LinkedIn. So completely ruined my title, obviously. So great timing. Thanks, LinkedIn. So my name is Gus Bandal. I always put it in massive letters, so obviously that's who you're going to connect with on LinkedIn. I'd love to get to know more of you. So as some of you may know, I'm the UK's #1 LinkedIn trainer, according to my mum. So that's me and my mum. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm being filmed today, and just for the record, I just want everybody to know that since this photo was taken, I have cheered up. That's the name. So that's me. Now, I've been in marketing for an incredibly long time. I'm old enough to remember the original TED Talk. It was most excellent. I'm glad I got a laugh there. Yeah. See, you're all my age. I like that. Yeah. If you have no idea who Bill and Ted are, ask your parents. And that's a killer joke, honestly. So yeah, I've been in marketing for an incredibly long time, almost 30 years. I know it's hard to believe. I'm the Indian Peter Pan. That's what I tell people. Never gonna grow up. But yeah, I've marketing degrees, postgraduate qualifications, worked for some of the world's largest companies. Worked in retail, worked in government, worked in motorsport, worked in engineering, worked in all sorts of industries, basically screwed up everything, and then thought, might as well start my own business and help others screw up theirs. So that's what I do. So right in 2017, I started my own business called The M Guru. The M stands for marketing. Took me ages to come up with that name. And that's what I do. So back to LinkedIn. That's what we're going to be talking about. So a few really, I'll try and keep this interesting, but really boring stats. LinkedIn started in 2002. Started by a guy called Reid Hoffman, et cetera, blah, blah, right up to 2016. That's when Microsoft bought it for $26 billion. And that's when it first really started changing. The real change was in the pandemic. And I've got to be honest, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I think LinkedIn, it would have stayed as like one of the minor social media channels. LinkedIn has added as many members in the last 4 years as it did in the 18 years before that. So there are now 1.1 billion people on LinkedIn as of yesterday. And now it's a fully fledged social media channel. It's one of the top 4 alongside Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But it's the only business-focused platform. I call it the digital water cooler because it's this place where people go to have conversations, to talk to each other. Particularly in the pandemic, everybody kind of went home, started scrolling their phones, thought, what can we do? They wanted to talk to other people, their colleagues, their associates, their friends, etc. Most people went to LinkedIn. That's why it grew. LinkedIn is the godfather of social media. See, I like the laughter. You're my age, Gen X. So Meta has got rid of fact checkers. Twitter has got Elon Musk. What else? Instagram keep making changes every like 3 seconds. Nobody really uses Blue Sky, despite what people on Blue Sky tell you. Threads is rubbish. Everything's owned by Meta and all that kind of stuff. LinkedIn is still, it's the #1 business-focused platform, and I believe it's the best platform where businesses, business owners, freelancers, coaches, consultants can make the most amount of money. And let's be honest, we're on social media to make money, right? As much as we love making friends and building relationships and blah, blah, etc., we want to make money. That's the main thing. If you win the Euro Millions tomorrow, you're not going to use this. You're like, forget this. So, I mean, I will. My last post will be, see you later. But anyway, until we win the Euro Millions, let's try and get rich ourselves. So we're going to be talking about the 3 C's of to become 1 in a billion on LinkedIn, which are community, content, and conversation. This is all you need to make the most of LinkedIn. So let's start with community. I love this quote. I love this so much. I put my own name on it. It's my quote, just so you know. If you take screenshots, feel free. Obviously, tag me in on LinkedIn, etc. LinkedIn is the only place where you can curate your own audience. Every other platform, every other social media channel, you have to wait for people to find you. You tell them, oh, I'm on this platform, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Threads, Parler, Discord, Hive, whatever, Clubhouse. Remember Clubhouse? Yeah, you're my age. You do. So, but LinkedIn, you do the outreach. The search box is your friend. There's a box right at the top. You basically type in anything you want in there. You can type in pharmacists in Farnborough, or business owners in Billericay, or goat herders in Grimsby. Whatever it may be, they're all on LinkedIn. There are 366 goat herders on LinkedIn, just so you know. Don't ask me how I know that. But LinkedIn is the only place where you do the outreach. So think about who your ideal clients are and go and search for them. Whatever they do for a living, whatever location they are, go and search for them and go and make friends with them. Send them a message. I'd like to connect with you because of X, Y, Z. Do not sell to them, obviously. I mean, not the first message. But curate your own audience. Now, obviously, other than the search box, there's a number of places where you can grow your community. Obviously, people that engage with your content. People who are liking your content or commenting on your content. If you're not connected to them, go and connect with them. They're already a warm audience because they know who you are. People who follow you. There's obviously on LinkedIn, there's a follow versus a connect. If you have a follow button set up and people are following you, go and look through your followers. Are they people that you should be connecting to? People who have viewed your profile. Now, thanks, LinkedIn, for ruining another part of my presentation. Profile viewers they've moved into the paid stuff, basically. So if you pay for LinkedIn, you can see who's viewed your profile. But if you don't pay for LinkedIn, you unfortunately, you can't as of like last week. But for those of you that still can, go and have a look at people who view your profile. Technically, they're warm leads. Don't forget your existing network. As much as we love LinkedIn trainers say, get a big audience and connect to everybody and all that kind of stuff, don't forget the people that already love you. Because what happens is, if you stop engaging with them, they fall off the ether. You don't see them anymore in your feeds and all that kind of stuff. And then, obviously you lose touch with them. So go and reconnect with your existing network. And of course, everybody should have a company page on LinkedIn. Every business owner should have a company page on LinkedIn. Go and look at the people that follow your company page, but aren't necessarily connected to you. And it's worth connecting to them. The way LinkedIn works, particularly it's about the 6 degrees of separation. You connect to somebody, they engage. You connect to somebody else, they engage with somebody else. And then all of a sudden it builds a community, because it's that 6 degrees of separation that introduces you to more people. Now, LinkedIn still has the best algorithm in terms of showing your content to people that aren't in your network. Everywhere else, quite frankly, is a pay-to-play system. Other than TikTok to a certain extent, not that anybody makes money on TikTok, but other than TikTok, the LinkedIn algorithm is still the best. Ultimately, when it comes to creating a community, we want to find people who look after my name when I'm not in the room. The important thing is to create a community of good people, those people that know us, like us, and trust us. Ultimately, we want to build trust with our audience. We create a community, we create friends. You should all be connected to each other. Hopefully you all connect to me. The idea is that you're going to be talking to each other to build a community. And as we all know, when somebody knows you, likes you, and trusts you, they become part of your one big happy family. That's the Kardashians. My wife told me that. I have no idea. As you can see in the top left there, I've put trust transfer. The idea about one big happy family and a huge community is the trust transfer element. The point is that when you talk to other people, they will transfer their trust to others. So if somebody says, oh, I need a LinkedIn trainer, I need a coach that does this, I need somebody that can help me with menopause or disability or resilience or whatever it may be, somebody else in your community will say, you should speak to this person. You should speak to that person. That's ultimately how it works. And when it's one big happy family, you're all happy to share content with one another, share ideas with one another, and tell other people about your name. It's transferring trust to people that you trust. So, second of the 3 C's LinkedIn strategy is content. Only 5%, less than 5% of people on LinkedIn create content consistently. And as far as LinkedIn is concerned, consistently means once a week. So, by posting on LinkedIn once a week, you fall into the top 5% of content creators out of the 1.1 billion people on LinkedIn, which is obviously a ridiculous stat if you think about it. There's basically 95% of 1.1 billion people are just scrolling and just viewing. Now, remember, if you're not creating content, that means somebody else is. And obviously that means your competitors are. So the important thing is to create content. Now, there was a couple of comments earlier about, just create content every day and post every day and just, whether you've got something to say or not, etc. I'm not personally a big fan of that. Make sure that people know what you want to say and make sure it fits as part of your content strategy. A very technical, boring tip is that the optimal amount of posting on LinkedIn is 3 times a week. So if you can post 3 times a week on LinkedIn, do that. And obviously make them good posts. We'll talk about content in a moment. But ultimately, by creating at least 1 piece of content per week on LinkedIn means you fall into the top 5% of content creators. Now, I have the Content Foundations. I have a content marketing strategy, which is the FAST acronym. Find the pain, agitate the pain, deliver the solution, back it up. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say deliver and back. It's not S&T, but obviously it's solution and testimonials, just for the pedantic amongst you. Now, the analogy that I always use is the mattress salesman. Anybody sell mattresses here? No? Good. So, if a mattress salesman said to you, would you like to buy a mattress? More often than not, you're going to say no. Because quite frankly, you don't know whether you need a mattress or not. However, if a mattress salesman said, you're having trouble sleeping at night, so they find the pain. Then they agitate the pain. They say, well, if you're having trouble sleeping at night, then you're probably quite lethargic and you've got a bad back and you've got a bad neck and you're not doing very well at work and you keep snoring and you keep rolling over and your wife hates you and your dog's going to leave you. They really agitate that pain. Then at that point you say, you should buy one of my mattresses. And at that point you think, oh yeah, I do need one of these mattresses, because they found your pain and agitated that pain. Now, something that obviously we were talking about this morning is the fact that most business owners, most coaches, consultants, etc., on LinkedIn only ever talk about the solution. This is what I do for a living, please buy my stuff. Nobody listens, because everybody else is doing the same thing. If I just went on LinkedIn and said, I'm a LinkedIn trainer, it's like, yeah, there's a million of you, mate. We could use anybody. Give people value. Tell people, here are your issues. Here's what happens if you don't fix those issues. Here's how I can provide the solution. You should have that on your websites, on your LinkedIn, in your articles, your newsletters, everywhere. It's about finding the pain of your ideal clients. Pain is a very harsh word. I appreciate that. But it's, finding their issues. Why would they come to you in the first place? Starbucks never sell coffee. They don't talk about coffee. They don't say we're a coffee shop. They sell the experience. Red Bull don't sell energy drinks. You never see Red Bull mention energy drinks. They always talk about giving you wings and all that kind of stuff. It's very much about finding the pain and agitating that pain. Here's your issue. Here's what happens if you don't fix that issue. Here's how we can fix the issue. And back it up with testimonials. Here's some case studies. Here's some testimonials. Here's people who have been through our programs, etc., etc. Okay. Now, I have something called the famous Gus Van Dale, Daniel Craig content marketing strategy. It needs a better title, I've got to be honest. So this is a very arbitrary figure of 70-30. 70% of my content is Daniel Craig dancing in a vodka advert. 30% of my content is Daniel Craig ready for an assignment. Ultimately, you have to have a mix. The 70% content is the personable content, is the content that resonates, is where you build an audience. Now, particularly when you want to become 1 in a billion, the idea is that you're the only person that can do what you do. You're the only person that has your experiences. You're the only person that can talk about whatever you've been doing this week. So when we create that 70% content, it's the personable stuff like, oh, I took my dog for a walk, or I made a lasagna, or I went to this networking event, or I got this testimonial, etc. 30% of your content should be the sales content, the real sales led. This is what I do for a living. This is how much it costs. This is how you buy from me. Here's the pain. Here's what happens if you don't fix the pain. Here's how I provide the solution. Now, the 70-30 is a very arbitrary figure. That's a figure for me. It could be entirely, it's up to you what you want to do. 90-10, 60-40, etc. But it's got to be a mix. Don't do 100% one or the other. I know people who only post jokes on LinkedIn, and quite frankly, I have no idea what they do for it. They're very funny, but I have no idea what they do for a living. Whereas there's other people that just sell all the time. This is what I do, this is what I do, this is what, and eventually you're like, yeah, I get it. And then you stop engaging with them, and then you stop seeing them, and then they fall out of your feed, and then you'll never see them again. And when you need that service, you just go to Google and find somebody else instead. So I always have a mix of content simply because it resonates with your audience. Create content that resonates with your audience where they can have conversations with you, two-way conversations. All social media relies on two-way conversations. Now, of course, there's always people that kind of say, anybody had these messages? This is on Facebook, you know, when you put kind of like personal content on there and all that kind of stuff. Thankfully, these guys are in the minority now. But if I put some of the Daniel Craig dancing in a vodka advert content on LinkedIn, and somebody says this is on Facebook, what I do is I find that person on Facebook, and then I send them a friend request. And then I systematically go through their content. And as soon as I see anything work-related, underneath I write, this is on LinkedIn. So, I don't waste my evenings. So, that was a joke. I should say for the purpose of the video, that was a joke. I don't do that. However, these people are now in the minority. LinkedIn is a fully fledged social media platform. Often I always get people saying, oh, I don't want to post this, or I can't post this, or is this suitable for LinkedIn? Everything is suitable for LinkedIn. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Good, by the way, good content, obviously. But everything is suitable because obviously this is content that resonates with other people, okay? Now, I'm not going to teach you the boring stuff, oh, I have text posts and all that kind of stuff. What the two things I do want to point out is document posts and videos. Currently, LinkedIn are pushing both. So document posts, or for those of you that use Instagram, it's carousels, but we can't call them carousels on LinkedIn. Doesn't sound professional enough. So they're called document posts. So scrollable posts on LinkedIn work really well. And also LinkedIn are currently, 2025, pushing short form video. So short form vertical style video, that's what they're pushing. So if anybody creates content on, for example, Instagram Reels, TikTok, etc., or indeed if you just want to create standalone videos on LinkedIn, they're currently heavily pushing them out. The algorithm is pushing that. Remember a couple of years ago when they were pushing out polls? Everybody was asking questions, like, what's your favorite sauce, red or brown? You know, it's like 50,000 views. That kind of, that's nonsense, you know, and it was weird, but it was the algorithm was artificial in terms of getting more engagement. So as of today, document posts work really well, and short form video. That's not to say don't do any of the other stuff. Like it's a real mix of content. I still find, for me, text content works best. But for a lot of my clients, video content is starting to work really well. This is a terrible screenshot. I don't know why I've included this. However, I should have just wrote the website. This is from a website called answerthepublic.com. Anybody heard of answerthepublic.com? Yeah, a few people. Oh, excellent. Oh, we'll move on. So for those of you that haven't, answerthepublic.com is essentially it's like Google on steroids. When you go in and ask it a question, or like put in what you do for a living, it will return hundreds of questions to you. So if I went in and put in social media, but at last count, it was like 150 questions that I would give me, such as, what is social media? Why should I use social media? Who does social media? Where can I use social media? Etc., etc. Whatever your specific niche is, whatever you do, and don't just put coaching, by the way, whatever your specific niche is in coaching, go to answerthepublic.com, put in a 2 or 3 word phrase at the top, and it will give you 100 questions of what you can ask. Those questions should form the title of your LinkedIn posts or your LinkedIn articles to then answer those questions. LinkedIn articles are Googleable. That is a word. LinkedIn articles are Googleable. So if you are answering questions that you've taken from Answer the Public and then write articles about them on LinkedIn, when somebody asks that question, because they're live questions, if somebody asks that question on Google, or indeed any other search engine, in theory, your article will come up. That's kind of the premise. So if you're showing off your authority, your knowledge, your experience, etc., it's a great way to do that. Go to answerthepublic.com, put in what you do for a living, take those questions, write articles about them on LinkedIn, get found on Google, make lots of money, Send me a testimonial, great. So, and the third section is conversation. Now, one person talks to another person, somebody else sees it, and they get involved in the conversation. Then somebody else comes in, and then you find a new connection, you find a new follower. Then somebody else comments, and then you go and comment on somebody else's content, so somebody else sees your comment, etc. It's just the way LinkedIn works. The more you engage, the better it is. Having conversations on LinkedIn, or indeed any social media platform, is why the social media platforms exist. They don't want broadcasters. They don't want people to just turn up and tell the news. They want people to get involved in conversations. Now, particularly if we add keywords all over our profile, that's important. I've used the acronym Chef's Hat, in case you're wondering. If anybody's making notes, just make sure you put the space after the S and not before it. I'll give that a second. I'll give that a thanks. So, thank you very much. I'm here all week. Now, keywords across your content. Sure, when you write your content, make sure it has keywords in it. When you, in your headline, make sure your headline is very clear. Make sure it tells the world exactly what you do for a living. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to write headlines. Obviously, you'll know what you're doing, etc. But in your headline, the very first part should tell people what you do. My headline says, the UK's #1 LinkedIn trainer. That's exactly what it says in the first part. Now, quite frankly, if you don't need LinkedIn training, you're not going to look at the rest of my profile. You know, all these kind of people that are helping time-poor business owners with. Because you only see part of the headline, most people don't read to the end. Most people just think, screw that, I'll find somebody else. So make sure the first part of your headline tells the world exactly what you do. In your experience section, where your company pages are, etc., make sure your company page is connected, make sure you put keywords in there. In your featured section, you can add a featured section, which are like pinned posts, etc. It's your best foot forward. Make sure you add featured content. Actually, I looked at Angela's profile earlier, and it was fabulous. So if you want to, I mean, other than mine, obviously, if you want to see another profile, yeah, go and look at Angela's profile. It's great, loads of brilliant content in there, etc. But featured section, put your keywords in there. Skills, in your skills section should have what you do for a living in there. I know most people set up a kind of a LinkedIn profile many years ago, and your skills still say crap like Microsoft Excel. Now, unless you're a Microsoft Excel coach, that's not what you do for a living, right? So go and update your skills. The hashtags that you use, the hashtags are kind of hit and miss on LinkedIn. They're good for when you want to search content, etc., and particular keywords about what you do, not necessarily for discoverability. Make sure you put it in your about section. Make sure you put your keywords in your about section. Now, I have a headline. From that headline, everything I've put in my headline, I expand on it in my about section. And then, of course, your testimonials. Now, obviously, you don't write testimonials. Other people write them for you. But you can be very directive in terms of telling people, this is what I did for you, and this is what you achieved. Can you write a testimonial? Automatically, they're just more or less going to copy and paste what you told them in the first place. So make sure that your profile in these 8 places you have keywords everywhere. What this does is this helps conversation. When people are searching for particular content, your profile will come up. Similarly, the LinkedIn algorithm, the more keywords you use, the more it will push out your content to people who are looking for your services. Okay? Ultimately, LinkedIn is the world's biggest and longest networking event. It's been around since 2002. It's got 1.1 billion people on LinkedIn. And they're all business professionals, and they're all talking to each other. And if you're not talking to them, they're talking to somebody else, okay? One way to start conversations is to journal your week. And so other than the advent of AI and all that kind of stuff, etc., the only person that has your experiences is you. Now, I normally recommend, if you don't post on LinkedIn too often, every Friday, write yourself a journaling post on LinkedIn. Monday I did this, Tuesday I did this, Wednesday, whatever. I met a client, I got a testimonial, I bought pizza for everybody in the office, I went to a fabulous conference, etc. Journal your week. Every Friday, just write, this is what I've been doing every week. You're the only one that has those experiences. And this will go on, and then somebody else will say, oh, I was at that conference as well, or oh, I get a testimonial this week, or oh, do you put pineapple on pizza? No. But does anybody? Hope not. So don't put your hand up. So, but journal your week, because that kind of content resonates with people, because it's what the only person that can write that content is you, okay? Now, earlier when we talked about searching for people, the idea is that you search for people, you connect with people, and then you have those conversations with those people. Now, particularly if you're searching for ideal clients, this is how you obviously use the search box, the people that engage with you, people that follow you, your company page followers, etc., etc. What you want to do is increase the relevancy score with those people. So there's like a virtual scoreboard. The more you engage with somebody, the more points you have with that person. So if you view somebody's profile, you get a point. If you connect with them, you get another point. If you send them a DM, you get another point. If you like their content, you get another point. If you comment on their content, you get another point, etc. The more points you have with somebody, the higher the relevancy score. The higher the relevancy score, the more likely it is that when you post content, that person's going to see it. So this is why, like, there's so many like AI commenters and bots and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, they're a load of crap. What you want to do is make sure that you're commenting on the content of your ideal clients, because then when you create content, they're going to see it. That's kind of the long and short of it. And it's increasing the relevancy score. If you look through your feed and think, oh, I haven't seen this person for a while, or I don't know where this person has gone, or etc., it's because you don't engage with that person and they don't similarly engage with you. One of my clients came to me and said, I keep seeing Boris Johnson's content. Like, I hate Boris Johnson. Why do I keep seeing his content? And what we worked out was, even though he's not liking or commenting on Boris Johnson's content, what he's doing is he's stopping and reading. And the algorithm recognizes when you stop on a post, on a feed. So if there's people that you hate, just scroll past. Or indeed block them, etc. But don't stop, because it will start showing you more of that crap, because basically it's increasing the relevancy score. So know who your community are, so find your ideal clients, create content that they would want to read, and then engage with them to increase the relevancy score, so quite frankly, you stay in each other's faces. And as we know, LinkedIn is about selling, and it's about making sure that we stay in people's faces until they buy, die, or tell us to go away. Right? That's the phrase, isn't it? I think, yeah. So I don't know if I was allowed to use profanity, actually. So I won't, don't worry. Anyway, I thought about it.
We can mute you out, it's fine, we can beep it.
Oh, cool. Oh, awesome.
Anyway, don't go no further.
I will not use any. Anyway, so that's the 3 C's. Now, there's always a bonus C, because obviously that's how it works, right? So, it is like an encore, right? So, confidence. The 4th bonus C is confidence. People often come to me and say, I don't know what to post, or I'm scared to post, etc. And I'm sorry if this sounds very like a broad brush, but it's predominantly women. Predominantly women, clients will come to me and say, I don't want to post because my ex-husband's on there, or my boss is on there, or my ex-boss is on there, or etc. And I just always say, they're not paying your bills, tell them to go away. So, because ultimately, it's about being you. And obviously, my next slide, I appreciate that sounds incredibly trite. Like all marketers say, just be yourself, everyone else is taken. Yeah, we all say that, don't we?
But it's about being intentionally you.
It's about actually leaning in to who you are. And it's really hard to be yourself, because everybody has a persona. Everybody has a social media persona. It's like, oh, this is my business, or this is how much money I make, or this is what I have to portray. And particularly if you're a coach, you have to be the best, don't you, for other people? Because other people are like, I don't want to use this coach because he keeps saying that he's crying all the time, or he's sad, or he hates people, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's about that vulnerability, and it's about that confidence of just being yourself. Lean into who you are, because that stuff resonates with your audience, and they will increase the relevancy score, and they will be part of your community, and ultimately they will get to know you, like you, and trust you, and become part of your happy family. And ultimately, when you are yourself, it's about overcoming this. And obviously we know the advent of AI and everything's coming in. There's loads of bots and fake accounts and people just writing crap like great post on every single post and all that kind of stuff. Being yourself and engaging with others as yourself will counteract the effects of
Essentially, things that are fake, okay?
So in summary, compendium, I looked for synonyms of compendium and of summary, and compendium is one of them. And I use that because obviously otherwise summary would ruin the alliteration, right? So build a community, create great content that they would want to read, nurture your audience so that obviously you have conversations with those audience to increase the relevancy score, and ultimately have the confidence to display your uniqueness. Just very quickly, just a quick thanks to, just in order of appearance, just thank, for those of you that don't know any of these people, that's, just want to thank that. Very quickly, go and check your SSI score. To prove that things are working, linkedin.com/sales/SSI, your social selling index. Go and check the score that you have, so that obviously you can get those numbers up. So there? linkedin.com/sales/SSI. So check your score. I've got a LinkedIn membership. Don't worry about that. Come and talk to me about that afterwards. And here's some homework for you, and I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much.
For my LinkedIn, can you picture with everyone behind
Oh, of
us?
course. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Let's do it. How are we going to do it? Okay, we're going to do it this way. Ready? Are we doing a thumbs up?
Yeah,
Everyone in the
yeah.
background, ready?
Cheer up, guys. Hey.
Pull your stomach in, quick.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks
I appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you so much.